Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you maybe a sounding of the alarm, but maybe shouldn't be because data slate is soon TM, right? So here's the thing, right? I know that I've said for the last couple of let's look at Meta Monday videos that I try not to go, hey, let's look at Meta Monday video, right? And truth be told, I had a different video planned. Uh, it was really a break glass in case of situation video. So this one took priority because I hadn't looked at Meta Monday until now and saw again, this I should put out here. Right, this is the result of one weekend. Okay, it is one weekend. It is one weekend. Okay, but I do expect it to continue, kind of, because it's been continuing, kind of. So I made a joke that said, "Hey, at least we're not orcs." Fuck, we're orcs. We're orcs, man, and like okay, where is it? What's the little blurb? The takeaways. Tyranids and orcs and Tyranids are the next worst factions, both with a 42% win rate and a few top placings. Will these historic factions see any help in the upcoming data slate? And this is where things blow my mind, right? Not just that Drukari apparently did good this weekend, how many times I keep telling people, it's like it just doesn't make sense. If one person could do it with the faction pretty consistently. Anyway, um, this is about Tyranids. Tyranids, Tyranids. 34% invasion fleet with 13 players on the weekend. I tried to give it the pass of Space Marines, where, oh, that's the one that people go to because they're newer, so they play that one, which is true. I want to add an asterisk caveat here that, as we've been seeing in tournaments, though, it is still one that competitive players, well, obviously these are all tournaments, duh. Um, it is still one that competitive players at the bigger tournaments, like the household names, I guess you can say, are still taking Invasion Fleet. Some of them are still taking Invasion Fleet. And Subterranean Assault being 44% on the weekend also is scary. Okay? So not only do we have our index, 13 players on the weekend, winning a third of the games, we have Subterranean Assault, our best detachment, TM. Our best detachment. I'm giving up on that fight. Winning 44% of games. And that's not just like a little less than half, where it's like, all right, 47, 46. 44 is like closer to, you tried, kinda. 48 wins out of 109 games. Now, the outliers, Assimilation Swarm and Vanguard Onslaught, one player for each of those detachments, so there's not a lot you can gather from that. Vanguard Onslaught going 4 and 6, Assimilation Swarm doing almost the inverse of 2 and 6. Do you consider 33% the inverse of 67? Let me know if that's just me being crazy. I'm like it's in thirds, whatever. Yeah. So or then there's either like 0 or 6 out of 6, right? So anyway, moving past that, then you have Crusher Stampede, where surprisingly 5 people picked it up this weekend. 12 wins out of 25 games. One going X and 1. So that's notable. 48% win rate, also notable. And here's the thing. I did reconsider Crusher Stampede lately because I kind of missed it, right? Reconsider like things. I also got a comment that it's kind of funny when I end up getting an alert for a comment on a video that I posted like 3 to 6 months ago, and not the comments that I posted an hour ago. So that's kind of funny. But it's interesting when I get a comment that far back, and I'm just like, no, that's not what that sentence was saying. But hey, whatever, I guess. All that aside, Crusher Stampede. I unfortunately still do believe it is going to suffer from what Knights did to everybody's mental. And to that point, this is what I meant when I wasn't sold that people were saying like when there's less knights in Death Guard, it'll be great for Tyranids. I knew that shit was bullshit, um, because that just isn't how. There's more issues to it than that. Um, I just I understand kind of why that was said, but again, this is what I meant. It's just like yeah, there's less knights, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with the knights. And now I gotta read the codex that just happened, right? So 49%, 10 tops, 10 X and O's, 10 9 X and ones, 1 X and O. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Imperial Knights, just less players. Because everybody went, oh no, it got nerfed somehow. Time to drop it. So like that, I don't understand the psychology of some players like that. But uh, okay, I just don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that. But this is today's video. I'll move on. Um, but yeah, we're a long way down. We're a long way down, and let's look at those predators. Death Guard, they got nerfed, still 51%. Virulent Victorium still at 56. Champions at 51. Also, I want it. Look, I have faith in Taliban summoners still, right? Because I told everybody, like, you could fit like 3 Great Unclean Ones, Rodius, and Mortarion, and then Land Raiders if you want. Like, that's a lot of stuff you can fit that a lot of people can't answer. So honestly, that should have been the build while Knights were going on. But anyway, uh, move past that. Where did Chaos Knights go? Chaos Knights, where you at? I probably could have just controlled F'd it, but we're in deep here. 47%, 54% with Lords of Dread still. Infernal Lance getting 47%. Honestly, if you just wipe these out, what does this percentage look like? I could do that math right now. Not going to. I don't teach math. Ha ha ha. But that's where I'm like, no, that there's fundamental issues to Tyranids this late in the edition. We know that, and at the same time, it's late in the edition. Okay, so here's the coping mechanism, right? Here's the cope. Here's the cope. If we are orcs for the rest of the edition, at least the edition won't last too long, right? Now that is barring the assumption that GW doesn't do a 10.5 for 11th edition, where it's like, hey, you keep all the rules except we're making some tweaks to the overhaul game, to the overall game, excuse me. Um, so there's that possibility still, and if that's the case, then being orcs for another 3.5 years would fucking suck. Let's be honest. However, I was going to say a bright side. I really was. I promise that was unprompted, unscripted. Uh, however, this is one weekend. This is one weekend. This is one weekend. Kumbaya, namaste. It's one weekend, right? Hakuna Matata, right? I know I've made a couple of videos now on Meta Monday, more than I told myself I would, because I'm like, don't worry, it's the weekend, But fuck. So, and it's the factions. Like, as somebody, the thing that I guess annoys me about this particular Meta Monday even further, the results of the weekend even further, is that it's the codex we all know needs the most help out of everybody, Admech. Then it's us, who I've been complaining about for a while, and everybody's like, shut up and bug boy. And I'm like, damn, that's not as simple because they're just like there's fundamental issues here. But I guess not. Fuck me. And then there's orcs who's everybody just like, yeah, but you can't let them be slightly okay because everybody plays orcs because everybody has an orc army. So then when they get something that's slightly okay, I still stand by Mordaka just being above average. Like I'm like not even barely above average. I'm just like, yeah, sustained hits 2 for an army that hits on 5s and 6s means they hit on 3s and 4s essentially. Let them have the fucking guns. Still don't think it was that bad because you can answer orcs. Orc profiles are fucking T5 to like T8. I think their highest is stuff like T8 or something, excluding the vehicles. You can shoot the fucking orcs. Let me reel it in. Let me reel it in. Shout out to the Cult of Speed player. And maybe speed is where we need to go between Vanguard Onslaught and Cult of Speed. Even though that's not, even though I know that's not the answer. But yeah, less analysis of this one because it's a fuck. I didn't want to be right. Right? I didn't want to say, like, yeah, people aren't going to forget how to kill high toughness things that aren't that tough. Like, if they gave our monsters more wounds, like they gave the knights, that can start to be a conversation. But T11 at 14 wounds, T9 at 9 wounds, yeah, the save is like a 2 on the 9 and a 3 on the 11. But then there's melted guns, and there's +1 to wound in the game, and then there's lethal hits, and then there's just having strength 12 because they figured, yeah, instead of making some of the T12, sorry, strength 12 weapons 13 or actually do anything, they're just bringing the knights down to 11. So everything still does wound you on 3s. It's a lot. It's a lot. I've complained a lot. I have. I have. I'm not going to act like I haven't. But damn, this weekend hurt, huh? This weekend did not do us favors. Did not do us favors. 42% invasion fleet at 34. And I know that I'm going to get receipted. Somebody's going to look at a past video and be like, see, Monster, you said here that you couldn't believe invasion fleet was at 33. And I'm like, damn, I guess I blocked that out of my memory. I must have suppressed that shit. Uh, Oof. Fuck. So yeah, that's the video. Really don't know what the upside is. Okay. The upside is that the slate is coming. Things will happen, right? Things will happen on the slate, and that 11th edition is almost here. But let's not. Let's hope that the weekends don't look like this. Maybe. Okay, we're also maybe facing competitive abandonment, right? I know some of the big names aren't on Tyranids right now. Okay, or at least maybe they were this past weekend. I didn't see, but the last time I saw some of those names that play Tyranids, they were not on Tyranids, and yeah, I think that I don't think that we're crazy. I don't think some of us that are realists are crazy. It's always an interesting thing where it's like, hey, I try not to be just objectively, uh, doom and gloom about it, like some things. I tried to call myself more of a realist because when some things are like being said that they're awful, I'm like, okay, maybe they're not that bad. And when some things are like, People are flipping their shit and losing their mind because I can bring a Haruspex out of a tunnel. I'm like, yeah, but you're still bringing a Haruspex. Have you used a Haruspex? It's okay. Like, it's okay. You'll be fine. Um, so it's things like that where I try to, not to say that I always try to find the middle ground, because you know that I have some certain heated feelings on it, on some things too. Like, I still hate the warrior discourse I've gone through this year with passion. Right, that's one of my sore spots. Warriors being so many people telling me that warriors were the fucking bee's knees, and I'm just like, they're just not. So that is a sore spot for me this year. Um, but yeah, Tyranids, let's go. Hey, at this rate, we don't need to try to look better. I don't know. I don't know. I'm wrapping up here because I'm just fried. I'm perplexed. This video is a lot of bit reactionary. I was going to say a little bit reactionary. It's a lot of bit reactionary. It completely jumped the queue of another video I was going to do. But damn. So hey, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.